Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to a sunny evening on the official PvE Valguero server. As you've just seen in the showcase, I built a base up here on this cliff, very close to the center of the map. I started out on official servers again after spending roughly 1 year on local servers just building stuff. But I've been missing the game somewhat, so I figured I'd give it a go now that the Valguero expansion came out, or the DLC came out. It was a good opportunity to start over. So this is the base that you've just been seeing, some stuff. I will be going through this and talking a bit about that, but I will also be talking about the progress that has been done so far in the game. I get asked a lot of the time, you know, if I can do some kind of tutorial for starting out and tutorial for playing the actual game, which I almost never do since I've just been building. But this time around I have actually been playing the game. So all of this is harvested and this is built on the official server, obviously, so there are different obstruction rules here. And I'm kind of happy with this. It was fun to build with official server settings again. Makes it a bit harder to do what you want, but if you do manage, in the end it's worth it. But we should not start the story up here. We should go down to the waterfront, where I have another part of the base. So this is where I started. Not exactly here, but more specifically on that raft over there. I built this harbor later when I found a place to settle down. But this raft is what I started out on. Valguero is a map with a large lake in the middle of it, so it makes sense to have a raft in the beginning because you want to be mobile and be able to go places with all of your stuff. So this is what I built. There's nothing fancy here, no weird trick. It's just a raft that does its job basically. Some basic necessities, bed, smithy, etc. Just to get yourself started, and you have a parking space for your dinos up here, so you can bring them with you if you want to. In the beginning I got a bit of a head start because I moved this character over. It's a spare character I had from my previous time on official service. It was level 90 I think when I moved it over, so I didn't have a rough start at all. But I mean, all of this has been done and built since Valguero came out. I was a couple of days late in on the server actually, but after that I've been working quite hard to harvest all of this and tame all of these things and to get this to where it is today. So I used this as a mobile base in the beginning. I tamed the basic stuff that you need, some parasaurs and some dodos and some raptors. But the first main tame that I got was an RG. And to do that I used this raft, which is a taming raft. It's just a place to lure dinos into. It has tamed several Argentavises and Carno and a Allosaurus and several other dinos. It has been working well. Nothing special here either. It's just a standard taming raft. Just made out of stone, just to make sure that you can actually have it stay up once the dino is attacking the gate. So it's been really valuable in the beginning, so you can take that, go somewhere where there's dinos that you're looking for, and then lure them into this and tame them, no problem. Once I got the Argentavis, I started looking for another one. I usually tend to make my first real Argentavis a battle bird, as they're called, meaning that you pump a lot of damage and stamina and health, so you can take on some bigger creatures. A good way to level up is to kill Alpha Rexes or Alphas in general with Argentavis. It's fairly easy to do as long as you're careful not to get stuck. It's a great way of leveling up yourself and also leveling up the dinosaur. Then there was this summer bash where you had the event with breeding. Twice the speed of breeding. Then I bred some Argentavises as well, so now I have fairly good ones. And they are actually really good to use for multiple purposes, when taming, when just gathering stuff or killing stuff. Really handy to use. One of my favorite creatures in Ark. Once I've gotten started and gotten some dinos and got established, I found this place It is very central, in the middle of the map. It has its benefits. You're not far away from anything basically, but you're also not really close to anything either. So you probably want to set up other satellite bases in the future. I have a little place up at the Wyvern Scar and some place in the Redwoods and some place where I can get oil together with my tribesmates who I met here on the server. Really nice people. They've been helping out when doing stuff that is more complex solo, such as breeding wyverns and taming quetzals. So it's been really fun to play with those people as well. Okay, so talking a little bit about this build then. It's a fairly straightforward build. It's just 2 walls to protect this main area from the bigger dinos. There's a lot of alpha rexes that spawn here actually. So it is a bit dangerous here. But these walls are not that high, but they still do a good enough job to keep them out. It's a fairly simple enclosed wall, which is done using a no-gap technique, which means that you have no distinct gap here from the wall down to the actual ground, which is my preferred way of doing walls. It looks much nicer, I believe. You get this little overhang up there, but it's not a problem. It looks nice, I think. So you have this on this side, where my first refining station was. I'm gonna rebuild this whole section to make a proper water pan for the future water dinos and stuff like that. And then there's another wall here on the side with a semi-circle little base here, just to have something to get started. And then I built a small little greenhouse here up on top. The water here goes in this wall down to the water, so you don't see the pipes. Which is also something I really don't like. Water pipes in the air, something I really don't like. So I try to avoid that whenever possible. So once this base was done, I had my eye set on the platform up top, where I built the main base, up there. And I figured I'd make a stair all the way up to the top, like this. It was fairly tricky. It's not that useful, but right now it hides the water pipes that go up here fairly well. I will hide it better in the future, but for now at least you don't have this ugly water pipe that goes all the way up. And you can use it in case you fall down or if you spawn down there and you need to get back up instead of running all the way around. I'm planning on making this little ledge here into something as well. Partially to hide this part of the water pipe, but also just to use the space for something later on. But as you see, you can run all the way up to the top without any issues. And the water pipe is running here on the backside. All the way up into the base. And now we enter the base, the main base. This is the kitchen and breeding room. This is where I raised my wyverns. I made sure to bring them outside before they got too large, obviously. This base has water and electricity running in a double floor all along. So you can put down electrical stuff and have water all in the base, wherever you are. There's also electricity going all the way through these walls around the whole base, so I have it illuminated, which is nice. I like that. This whole base is based on a big circle where you have 90 degrees of that circle for this area here, and then I elongated that part out into the walls so that I could encircle this whole area. There's a drop here in the center, which means I cannot build there. Otherwise I probably would have something in the middle, but right now there is some vegetation and trees and stuff like that, which is nice, it looks nice. But it's a kind of a wasted space. I cannot do anything about it since the drop is there. Still can store dinos, I guess. Always something. In here is the generator. It powers all the base and it goes up through this to the upper floors, so I can have electricity up there for lamps and stuff on the roof. One bed, toilet, second bed, and one of the ever-present balconies. I like balconies. I make a lot of balconies. I have not used any greenhouse glass or any of that material in the main build. It makes it look kind of high-tech. I mean, this is kind of a low-tech build, so I'm keeping to stone and wood mostly. So greenhouse kind of makes it looks a bit off, I think. I only have it for the actual greenhouse, which is over there, which we're gonna see soon. So this is the main stairwell. It goes up here and into two separate rooms, mainly intended for dino storage. I have my pteranodons here at the moment. I bred these to go hunting for wyvern eggs. You can pop down here and go into this room. This is the main crafting room. Also some dinos here. And some of the smaller critters that I found. These two are not necessarily that interesting and not that useful, but they were both 150 and I just found them, so I figured I might as well tame them. They are, what are they? 269 and 261 at the moment, so they've been here for some time. This is also something I just tamed up just to have something to alert me if something comes in close. It's a good feature, I think. This is another 150 perfect tame. It was a event dino, as you can see from the color. Not great stats, but it's okay, I guess. This is my tower, which shoots mainly pteranodons, but my point of it was that sometimes wyverns get drawn into 50-50 and they end up here, so that one takes care of that. These are here mainly for the eggs. Previously on official servers I tended to just get low-level Rexes for the eggs, but all of these ones are at least level 140 wild. Some of them have been leveled, some have not, and some of them are bred as well. Just to start prepare if you want to do bosses in the future, which I haven't done yet on this map. This is my other greenhouse, and it turned out kind of cool, I think. It's a circular build from the bottom, where the new flexi pipes, they're new still to me because I haven't used them that much, makes it really easy to layer different cable sections like this. So you have basically two sets of cables, or pipes in this case, which are placed at various heights, so you can make this pattern with the water taps. And the water running out of here comes all the way down there from the lake below. It's just drawn inside of this structure here. Turned out quite nice, and here we have Quetzal parking on the greenhouse. It's a kind of an interesting geometric shape here, because this one is a circle. This part of the house, which is elongated out, and the greenhouse goes straight into that, which is doable on official, obviously, as you can see it here. But you need to be careful about the height. You need to have the exact same height as the ceilings from the actual house. Then you don't have any issues clipping it into each other. Ceilings will not obstruct with ceilings as long as they are on the same height, even on official servers. So that turned out quite cool. I had a kind of mushroomy thing here first, just to cover the greenhouse area, but I wasn't happy with it. It looked cool, but it was a bit off for the rest of the building. We move in here. Here are some other, oh, you can see there. My plant species X is going. Some other dinos that I tamed on the way. This was to get some thatch and some fiber. You can run all along the wall up until the behemoth gate from both sides. It's not that useful, but I still do it all the time. I don't know why. I think it's just something that I do. These walls are also no gap walls, which means there's no gap towards the ground, which I like. It looks neat. It also prevents any dinos from sneaking through. Here is one of my mammoths. This is the high level one that I tamed. It was level 140, I think. And high level Duedicurus down there. This is the Behemoth Gate, the main entry point to the base. The interesting thing about this is that it has been encased, so you cannot see the actual texture or the actual gate. It's just see these doorways, which is something I tend to do as well. I really like it. I don't like how the Behemoth Gate looks. So this way it makes it easier for me to hide it. Just a normal gateway. I made this into a semicircle. I left the pattern of fence foundations here because I thought it looked nice. And I also made this little feature here with all these artifacts, which I get from a cave not far from here, in that direction. Which is really good to have. I mean, they're red. I would have preferred a different color, but this one was the closest and easiest to get, so I went with them. It's good for some mood lightning a little bit over the base. Here is my second wyvern, fire one. I got lucky. This was the first fire egg I found. It was a 180. So that was the only one I raised. I have raised several wyverns in the past. But this time I just got 2 eggs, 175 and 180, and I raised them. They're good enough. This one got fairly okay stats, I guess. Now that it has been leveled, it's doable. Rex, this was an Allosaurus and a Carno that I both tamed in that taming raft down there. This was a 145, I believe, in the wild. So these are neutral. Sometimes things tend to glitch through, stuff like that. So yeah, good to have some dinos in neutral at least. Last but not least, we have this little guy. He was a level 130 wild, which I managed to trap, and it's really handy. They give insulation, so I tend to carry him around when I'm in base and go up north. Really nice to have. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I know that the videos have been slow, meaning that I don't post as many of them as I used to. But that's the drawback when you do official server. It takes so much longer to actually build something. But I wanted to do it, partially because I wanted to play for myself, but also because I wanted to show what I would do these days if I actually played on official. I've gotten that request several times. What would you do if you started out again? So I figured the easiest way to do it was to just show you. And with vacation and the Valguero map coming out, I figured it was time to give it a shot. So, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye!